drivers of ARCA. It is go time once again, 3.0, as we welcome you back live to Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and Pocono Raceway for the Pennsylvania 150, where the skies definitely are looking better. Drivers are beginning to climb into their cars. So, Phil Parsons, it is about time to get busy. But each weekend starts with a little bit of practice, and then the first big thing of the weekend, the General Tire Pole Award. Who got it this weekend?
Yeah, Todd Gillen was the fastest car in practice, and he backed that up with a great qualifying effort. Very, very fast speeds here. The fastest speeds we've seen since the track was repaved back in 2012. There he is, taking the checkered flag in that front line Toyota.
A full 2 mile an hour faster than the ARCA Menards Series qualified here. The race you've been watching last May. Congratulations, Todd Gilliland becomes the 7th different General Tire Pole Award winner. He will pace the field from the position 1. Next to him will be Christian Eckes, the guy trying to climb his way back into the pits. Take a look at row number 2. Chandler Smith, the hot shoe. Michael Self, the 25 car, the point leader. This one's getting fun early.
Yeah, a lot of strength back in row number 3, too, with Corey Heim and Rafael Lassard.
Travis Braden is one of those consistent performers. He, along with the 9th starting Brett Holmes, who comes up in roadside of row number 523. What these guys need to do is figure out how to not only get a top 10, better yet a top 5, better yet, get to victory lane.
Yeah, without a doubt here, they want so desperately to do that. It's awfully hard here. There's a lot of strong competition up front here in the ARCA Menards Series.
Very privileged to have 4 onboard cameras that'll show you some very unique views. All 4 of them beginning to climb in, get the helmets on. They are in the office about ready to get busy. We start with the MyFace onboard camera. That is Joe Graff Jr., who rolls off from position number 10.
We're also going to ride along with a Matrix Care on board. That's Travis Braden. He has 3 top 10 finishes here at Pocono. 4th in points, and he's going to start from the 8th spot.
Points is something that Michael Self, that carries the Sinclair onboard, doesn't want to talk about yet, just focusing on getting wins. That's a very unique onboard, a camera that will travel 360 degrees.
Yeah, how about the General Tire onboard for our pole sitter, Todd Gillen? His average ARCA Menards finish this year, 1.5. He wants to keep that trend going here, and he starts from the pole.
Don't get a chance to say this too many times, but there was the storm before the calm, before the storm. Everybody is suiting up, and when we come back, 60 laps of racing here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania 150 coming your way when we come back here live on FS1. Don't go anywhere. It was the late, great Tom Petty that said, waiting is the hardest part, but the wait is over here at Pocono Raceway. The Pennsylvania 150, 60 laps of competition about to get going. You know, when it comes to super speedway races and the ARCA rules, Phil, they mandate that the minimum age to compete is 18, but not so at this racetrack. You don't have to go very far back in the history books to find racers that are 17 that have won.
Yeah, how about Chase Elliott? He's done a lot of good things since that first ARCA win. And Cole Custer, 5 wins this year in the Xfinity Series. And Harrison Burton, he was our Daytona winner here in the ARCA Menards Series, doing a great job in the trucks.
And in our Bounty Rookie Spotlight, we got a couple of rookies on the move. We've been talking a lot about Chandler Smith, but let's not forget about Corey Heim. You talked about him earlier. He's a stud.
These young men have 25 combined ARCA starts. Only twice have they finished out of the top 10. Amazing talent here in this series.
Well, let's take a look at the Bounty Rookie Challenge current points, where Christian Eckes has climbed his way to the top of the heap. Tommy Vi led for much of the year, but Christian, coming on strong, has now a 38-point lead over the driver of the 10 cars. The car's just about ready to get rolled onto the racetrack. Let's get a final thought from Kim Kuhn on some of what we might be talking about later today in our 60-lap affair here.
Well, the Cup cars will compete here later in the weekend, and they've added a traction compound to the racing surface to create multiple racing lanes and increase passing. What does that mean for the ARCA Menards Series drivers? Well, because they're the first ones on the track this weekend, that compound very fresh and really slick. The drivers that got 2 and 4 tires into it during practice, well, they said their cars snapped loose. Will they be able to use it during this race? Some drivers said no. Others said they're going to wait and see how the compound has changed throughout the afternoon, specifically after the trucks laid down some rubber in their practice. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for which drivers are brave enough to get up into that compound and how it affects their race cars.
Phil, I know when I started watching all of our NASCAR coverage on FS1 already on Monday, the talk of traction compound in this racetrack came right to the forefront. How will it affect, in your opinion, these guys today?
I think just in traffic, maybe on the, obviously the initial start here, they're going to be too wide. As you can see, our pole winner, Todd Gillen, chose the outside. I think you're going to see these guys very tentative about using the traction compound. I think over the weekend, well, it's going to get a lot of use.
So the race today taking place at Pocono Raceway, a 2.5-mile triangle, if you will. Let's talk a little bit more about what makes this place so very unique.
Yeah, there's all three corners are completely different. Turn one, as you can see, is banked 14 degrees, banked a little bit more. It's patterned after the old racetrack at Trenton, New Jersey. Turn two, the tunnel turn, one of the most challenging corners in all of motorsports, is patterned after Indianapolis Motor Speedway, only banked 8 degrees. That's where they are right there in turn two. And then turn three, a little bit flatter at 6 degrees, but that propels you onto that long 3,700 foot straightaway. You got to get off turn number 3 to get down that front straightaway.
If you wonder why they call it the tunnel turn, the cars at pace lap were going by right there. You can see the tunnel is right there.
They don't go
Way to
through
get
the
in
tunnel.
and out. No,
they don't go through the tunnel. They go over the tunnel.
Mentioned Gilliland taking the outside line. You think that's going to be important when it comes to the start of this race? Michael Self will be tucked in right behind him.
Well, he has the option. He's the one that actually controls the start. When he goes, I think he wants to get down in front of him and get to that first corner before him.
Let's talk a little bit about pit windows and race strategy.
Yeah, this race is a little bit shorter than the one we had back in May. That was 80 laps. This is only 60 laps. That just moves your window where you can make it the rest of the way. A lot of the guys say they can go about 38 to 40 laps. So once they get to around lap 20, that window opens where they can make it the rest of the way. They really only anticipate one pit stop here. Some of the guys say they're going to put 2 on. Some of the guys say they're going to put 4 on.
I'll tell you one thing that is very unique right now about the ARCA Menards series. 26 consecutive races dating back to June 2006. Different winners every time out. And guess what? We're going to have a new one today. There's not a winner that's won here at Pocono on the field today. So that number is about to go to 27. That is very, very impressive. We talked just a moment ago about race strategy. Let's talk a little bit about pit strategy with Kim.
Yeah, you guys mentioned this being a very short race, 60 laps only, and I talked to a lot of teams, and they had said that makes this a clean one-stop race, especially depending on and if the caution flag flies. Now, ideally, they want that caution to fall around 25 laps, 30 laps. That kind of splits it right down the middle for them to make a caution stop. Green flag stop, another story. A lot of these drivers don't have a lot of practice on the green flag stop, so they made sure to get some of those reps in during practice earlier today. But again, that fuel window, high 30s to low 40s, so it should be just a one-stop race for the teams down here.
Yeah, I think Kim's exactly right. And I was talking to Billy Venturini, the team manager for Venturini Motorsports, and I said, what if the caution doesn't come out? He said, I'll come as early as lap 30, but we need to be within 6 or 7 seconds of the lead in order to get back on the racetrack without losing a lap. He said, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if we lost a lap, because we could always get the waiver on for the guys that would have to pit under that caution.
Billy Venturini was certainly getting Chandler Smith in all the right places, making the great moves on the box in Iowa and leading 140, 150 laps. Chandler was doing a good job there. In fact, that 20 car is very much a part of our General Tires Super Speedway Challenge championship for car owners. And we're getting kind of down to the end here, the nitty-gritty, and it's between the 20 and the 22. Billy Venturini and Chad Bryant.
Yeah, what a great battle that's been all year long here. They started out at Daytona with Harrison Burton winning in that 20 car for Billy Venturini. Then Tom Majeski put a bunch of wins together there for Chad Bryant Racing. Chad Bryant Racing right now has the lead, but Billy Venturini is close on his heels.
As it stands, it is now a 2-horse race. Billy Venturini's 20 car, 95 points behind that 22 machine. So there's the race within a race, and then of course there's the owners, there's the manufacturers championship, which by the way Toyota has already officially locked up this year, the ARCA championship.
Yeah.
Yep,
11 wins in the first 14 races is enough to get them the manufacturers title, and I know how important that is to the manufacturers for sure.
We got some itchy trigger fingers, or in this case throttle feet, about ready to go. A lot of waiting to get to this point, in the car, out of the car, but now it's time to stay in that car for 60 laps and see who can be the best. Pace car has pulled into the infield. Cars are at the ready. It is Todd Gilliland that goes first in the 18. The green flag comes out, and we are racing at Pocono.
A very nice jump by Todd Gilliland. He's able to clear the 15 of Eckes down into turn 1.
Michael Self, the point leader, with some contact on Chandler Smith. Already some early race hijinks.
Chandler Smith completely sideways, and look how much momentum he lost as Austin Wayne Self from the 32, Rafael Lessard, and Travis Braden, the 27, go by him.
For that 20 driver, the first time on a racetrack this size. Exactly twice as long as St. Louis. He raced at earlier this year. So incredibly strong. A lot of people expect that to continue here. And why wouldn't it? He's got a very talented crew chief in Billy Venturini, that whole Venturini Motorsports team. They've really been the scourge of the series this year.
Look at Christian Eckes taking a look on the inside of Todd Gilliland. See, Todd Gilliland's going to drifting way traction compound. They really don't know if there's much grip up there or not. When the traction compound works, there's a lot of grip in it.
Top two separated miles by less than a tenth of a second. Christian Eckes desperately needs these points. We got a long way to go here today in Long Pond. Michael Self runs third.
I was talking to Mark McFarland, crew chief for that 18 of Todd Gilliland. I said, I know you guys are fast. He was the fastest car in practice. I said, who's your competition? He said, right now I think the 15 of Eckes and the 20 of Smith are the best two other cars.
And where is that Toyota of Chandler Smith? Right now knocked back in the 8th position after that early contact between the 20 car and the 25 of Michael Self.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where the 20 car just got a little bit loose. He had to chase his car up the hill a little bit. Michael Self had given him plenty of room, but they just got a little bit loose. Riding along with Michael Self in the Sinclair onboard. You see the contact right there when he got him a little bit sideways, but you heard Michael Self feathering that throttle up off the corner.
Chandler with a little bit of work cut out for him. Looking at Austin Wayne Self, one of 3 racers that will be competing in the NASCAR Ganders Outdoor Truck Series. Let's check in with Kim.
Yeah, I just checked in with Chandler Smith's team, and they had radioed to him that he gave too much room to Michael Self, and that caused that incident, and he was too shallow going into turn 1. Now, this is the problem a lot of the drivers had throughout practice, is getting into the corners and too shallow. So something we're going to want to keep an eye on is that throttle time as they get into both 1, 2, and turn 3.
3 unique corners, 3 unique ways to drive this thing. Michael Self, by the way, doing some instructing. Has a little bit of a road racing experience here, and that may come into play too. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I've always felt like this was a road course with 3 corners, 3 all left-hand turns. Sometimes back in the past, these guys used to shift a little bit here up in the 3rd gear, but not anymore. ARCA Racing Series will not allow that.
Right behind that pack of cars, you see Travis Braden in the 27 trying to get himself in the mix. Braden right now 4th in points, desperately needing a win here to get himself up at the chase. Gilliland, meanwhile, has opened a 0.3 of a second lead. Christian Eckes continues in pursuit in second.
Yeah, pretty good battle up front here with those 2 guys. You saw them side by side just a couple laps ago. You know, Chandler Smith was able to test here prior to our May race. So he got a lot of laps there. He got a lot of laps here in practice today, but that's a whole different animal than getting out here with these other cars when that air is as dirty as it is right now with these other cars on the racetrack.
Here is your race leader. And that's Christian Eckes that races in second for Gilliland. His 3rd ARCA start in 2019. He was 2nd at Daytona, picked up the Talladega win. So when he shows up, he always shows up in a big way.
And remember that different teams too. That was his father's team along with Bo LeMastus that he ran Daytona and Talladega with. This is for Joe Gibbs Racing. Riley Herbst and Ty Gibbs are both in Iowa right now running the K&N Series and the Xfinity Series. So they tabbed Todd Gilliland to jump in this car. This car runs every race, most of the time with Ty Gibbs on the short tracks.
Gilliland now opening up a bit of a lead, 0.8 of a second. As Chandler Smith continues to pursue Austin Wayne Self in the 32. That's a position battle for 6th. These guys find themselves now 8 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that Chandler Smith has not been able to overcome that first lap incident when he got together with Michael Self, lost all that track position.
He, of course, one of the talented Venturini Motorsports drivers. Those guys have had drivers that have had episodes and incidents. Christian Eckes being one of them, Michael Self, now Chandler Smith having, but it's that time of the season. It is go time.
It's go time, and it's early in this race too. We're only 5 laps into this 60-lap race here. Caution flags, pit stops. We have a lot of things as he looks to make that pass now on the 32 of Austin Wayne Self.
Side by side with the 32, now score the position to the driver of the 20, who just continues to get better and better in the ARCA Menards series.
Let's see if he can complete this pass, and he is going to be able to complete the pass. Move him up to the 6th spot, excuse me.
Chandler Smith has led laps in 14 of the 17 ARCA Menards Series races he's made in his career, but right now he finds himself position number 6. Meanwhile, Todd Gilliland continues to lead this race. 7 laps are in the books. He has a second advantage. The race goes on here in Pocono. One-sixth of the way through the Pennsylvania 150, the driver of the 18. Todd Gilliland is putting on a clinic right now, opening up more than a second lead on Christian Eckes. A race marred by some storms, some thunderbolts. No rain actually fell to the track, but take a look at this great battle for 4th.
Yeah, Corey Heim has chased down Rafael Lessard in the 28 car to make that pass. Put Corey up to 4th now.
You mentioned that this was a team led by Chad Bryant and Paul Anders that tested back in May. Corey Heim was actually in a backup car that actually tested faster than Ty Majeski, who went on and won that race last May.
In that car.
In that car, exactly.
Right here, the exact same car. As you can see, Chandler Smith now has chased down that battle for the 4th position.
So it's a 3-car dance.
I think Chandler Smith is getting his legs underneath him now. Look at him move to the inside of Lessard to take over that 5th spot, and he has it.
Working the pits in Iowa, had an opportunity to listen to the scanner, the conversations between Chandler Smith and Billy Venturini. Both cheerleading when they need to be, both playing the role of calming down and getting your racer in the right zone. And when you get him in that zone, Chandler Smith is one tough customer to beat.
He's been in the zone most of the times I've seen him race, Dave.
Average finish last year, 4.3. That was in only 9 races. This year, he's improved that to 3.9. He's only won 8 races. Oh, yeah. He's won 4 of the 8 that he's been in, too.
Yeah, and his only finish outside the top 10 was at Gateway when he broke an axle. He certainly
not even his fault. Yep.
Certainly would have finished better than that. As you can see him chasing down now Corey Heim in a battle of 17-year-olds.
Remember, this is the battle in the General Tire Super Speedway points, too, for the car owners. The race within a race is warming up right in front of our very eyes. It's as if Chandler Smith didn't want to take that opportunity there.
I think
he's got another one right here.
I think he's going to take it when he can get it. I think they've turned the reins loose on him.
Best battle on the racetrack right now. This one for 4th. It's now 1.5 seconds that Todd Gilliland leads by.
Still running pretty fast laps, even though they're battling as hard as they are. They've driven away from Lessard now about 2 seconds.
Now it's Corey Heim that seems like he's able to get away a little bit. Nobody venturing up too much into that traction compound that we talked about till right there. We'll be trying to get those right sides up in there, see if they can get a little traction.
Yeah, I was watching during our commercial break Todd Gilliland lapping around some cars, and he was up in the traction compound and looked like he had some grip. His lap times looked pretty good too. I think it's a situation, if you have to go up there, there's enough grip there to hold you.
Well, for Chandler Smith, you're hoping, Corey Heim, you're hoping that pit stop can change everything, but right now they got to worry about this position. Right now these guys 13 seconds behind your race leader.
Yeah, the pace that Todd Gilliland is setting right now, I mean, these guys are going to have a caution flag or something to go wrong with that 18 car of Todd Gilliland in order to catch him, but very rarely do we run these races without caution flags, unfortunately.
Bobby Gerhardt's a lap car. Will he provide any resistance to this battle? No, he will not.
Bobby, better move here. I think he's run here 60 times at this racetrack. 27 top 10 finishes here for Bobby Gerhardt at Pocono.
A career spanning better than 32 years for Gerhardt. His 338th race overall. Been doing it a long time.
It's a home game here too for Bobby from Pennsylvania.
Boy, I love some of these camera angles. It looks like the 20's just got him sized up perfectly, and then somehow the 22 is able to kind of get that gap back.
I have a feeling that we'll see these two young men racing a long time against each other.
Again, another run down this long backstretch. Will the 20 take a look to the inside now? No, he will not. So while this battle rages on, Todd Gilliland continues to lead, and Kim Kuhn has more on that.
Yeah, just checked in with the team of Todd Gilliland, and he reported that that race car has no grip, really. It started out tight. Now it's trending to the free side, so that back end wants to snap out towards the wall. His spotter, though, Kevin Hanlon, reminding him, stay focused, hit your mark, and remember, do not overdrive the corners.
We saw his dad up on the pit box a little earlier going to break, watching his son here. We mentioned one of 3 drivers that will also be competing in the trucks this weekend.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the races that David has run, Todd has run before had been in David's cars, and now David can just be a dad and watch him drive this Joe Gibbs car.
So give me your opinion as we ride on board in our General Tire onboard camera inside Gilliland, the difference between driving a truck versus driving an ARCA car.
Well, there's quite a bit of difference. Obviously, a lot more competition in the truck series. You see him hard through the tunnel turn here. Whoa. Very, very aggressive there. As you can see up top right of your screen, that's his dad, David, a great race car driver in his own right. But these cars, because of the trucks having such a big cab on them, you know, you back off that truck and you really notice that you don't lose as much momentum in an ARCA car. So you keep the momentum up a lot more in these ARCA cars, and these lap times are a little bit faster in these ARCA cars. Essentially, they run the same engines, the exact same engines in the ARCA Menards series cars as they do the Gander Outdoors trucks. The Ilmor engine, we call it an NT1 in the truck series.
Now Chandler Smith to the inside of the 22. Can he grab the position away? Still got a little racing left to settle this one out, and look who they've caught. Michael Self.
Yeah, as hard as these guys have been battling for this position, they've caught that third place running Michael Self. Chandler Smith has that spot now. I think he's going to grab that third spot from his teammate Michael Selfield momentarily.
Boy, it looks like it's going to be a 2-for-1 on a single lap, and it is. Michael Self gives up a position. Chandler Smith now occupies third.
Yeah, Chandler Smith now is showing that strength that Mark McFarland, crew chief for Todd Gilliland, was talking about.
Now the 22 to the inside of the 25. There's that 360 camera panning over that shows you Michael Self has now slid back to 5th in the overall standings. Michael Self driving that Sinclair Toyota's awful loose, and guess what? He is coming to pit road right now. So the early pit strategy coming into play here for a race car that simply looks like it's going away. Could be a very pivotal part of this race.
Yeah, I think it's even a little bit earlier than probably what they wanted to. But, Kim, I think they probably were struggling with that handling a little bit.
You're absolutely right. This is a strategy call, but it mostly had to do with the handling of that Toyota Camry. Michael coming on the radio and telling his team, man, it is really loose. Too loose, in fact, so there is a wrench in the back of that race car. They are going to tighten it up for him, and they're going to take 4 tires as well as fuel on the Michael Self machine. That second can of Sunoco fuel going in. Michael Self too loose, took an adjustment to tighten it up, and they clean off the grill as he's down and away.
Perhaps the best part of that pit stop for Michael Self has all of his gears. Ran over something in the race at Iowa, only had 4th gear, still able to get that car home to 3rd. So Michael Self makes his way back out onto the racetrack as Todd Gilliland continues to lead. 19 down, 41 to go with the ARCA Menards series. The final 3 races in the regular season, playoff positions are heating up as the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series returns to Fox. Nation's best truckers take on the Pocono Triangle. And it does so with Tyler Ankrum grabbing a playoff position. But Harrison Burton, Todd Gilliland, our race leader, they're on the outside looking in, doing double duty this weekend, needing a good run tomorrow.
Yeah, that victory by Ankrum really turned the playoff situation upside down. Basically, Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland both in a must-win situation.
Boy, Harrison, he's going to need some luck. This guy's going to need some luck. Not needing any luck right now as Todd Gilliland finds himself 3.2 seconds ahead. Christian Eckes in the points race continues to run second. He's got a very comfortable gap. Christian Eckes liking what he's hearing from his spotter about Michael Self, the 25, pitting early, now finds himself a lap down. Kim, what'd you find out?
Well, I checked in the pit box of the team, and they did check those tires after they changed all 4, and there was a right rear tire puncture. You're seeing that on the screen right now. Some sort of debris had caused that. Michael, though, had been battling a loose race car all throughout the day in practice, complaining it was turn 1 and loose in turn 2. So already a loose race car, and then exacerbating that problem and having him have to come down was that right rear tire puncture on the Michael Self machine.
Yeah, and I think that pit stop, he had to pit because that tire was going down, but that's borderline on making it to the end of the race. I think he may have to hope for a caution flag now in order to make it to the end of the race, because he pitted back on lap number 18. That would leave him with 42 laps to go to the end, and most of the guys said that would be on the outside of being able to make it 42 laps.
Not only fuel strategy, needs that track position as well.
Well, he's okay right now as long as we can remain green till everyone makes pit stops. Then that's not that much of a disadvantage to him, unless he doesn't have enough fuel to get to the end.
Are we in the clear weather-wise? Look at the left side. That's Sinclair Toyota.
I thought we were in the clear all day long, and we had lightning 3 different times.
Gilliland putting Willie Mullins another lap out, third race out.
Michael Self has just got himself into the free pass situation. If the caution flag were to come out, he has a lead car 1 lap down. He would get the free pass. It wouldn't last long, though, because Joe Graff Jr. is not that much ahead of our leader right now, Todd Gilliland. If he puts him a lap down, then he would be in position. That was that yellow car you saw in front of the 18 of Gilliland.
So now the question becomes strategy for the 18. What do you think they are thinking about when it comes to their pit window?
I think they have such a good lead right now. I talked to Mark McFarland earlier today, and I think if we get somewhere around lap 30, we might see him come to pit road, because he can come to pit road and not go a lap down with any kind of a decent pit stop, because he's 4 seconds clear of the second place car. I think you can be 5, 6, 7 seconds behind the leader, come to pit road, have a normal pit stop, and stay on the lead lap. Eckes would be the only one that would be in that position to come to pit road and not lose a lap to Gilliland, because he's 4.3 seconds behind.
And the tire onboard camera, you hear the car hitting the rev limiter as it gets into turn number 1. Todd said he was fighting that car earlier, though. As you get a look at his hands on the steering wheel here, looks like things pretty good through that corner.
It was the fastest car in practice. He got our pole, and he's led every lap of this race. There hasn't been a whole lot of fun going on, I don't think.
Nope. If you're wondering about Chandler Smith, the 20 driver that's won our stop in Iowa. He currently sits third, finds himself 18.8 seconds behind. So again, a caution could change everything. How many times have we seen it this year? Somebody's got a runaway freight train going, and then a little slip here, a little yellow there. The next thing you know, throw the script away. Everything going very, very smoothly so far, though. The driver of the 18.
I think it says a lot for the ARCA Menards series that we've run 27 laps now, caution-free. A lot of talent here in the series.
Mentioned Todd in the Gander Outdoors Trucks finds himself 11th. He needs to have a good run here tomorrow. He's getting plenty of good looks at this racetrack now.
He's chasing down that 77 of Joe Graff Jr. Joe Graff Jr. is running in the 8th position right now. Michael Self would not want to see that 77 car go a lap down. That would take him out of the free pass position and put the 77 in. There he is right there, the My Face onboard for Joe Graff Jr.
But if you listen to the RPM from his car versus the onboard from Todd Gilliland, definitely a big difference there.
Last 7 races, 11th is the worst finish for Joe Graff Jr. Has made his Xfinity debut in the recent months. Had a solid run at Iowa, had a good run going at Daytona, had qualified 6th, got caught up in one of the many incidents in that race.
Unique opportunity to work in the communications area, too, with Richard Childress racing.
And he's got to go back to school here pretty soon at NYU.
Yes, he does.
A lot of people there, a lot of family and friends, and a lot of folks to my face here on site for Joe here this week.
Mahwah, Pennsylvania, or excuse me, New Jersey, the hometown. That means the drive over here to Long Pond, not too far. So big opportunity for him here in that 77 car. It's about a second and a half, maybe back to your race leader. This could be another interesting development in this race, especially with regards to points leader Michael Self.
I think we're getting close now. 29 laps completed by Todd Gilliland. I think these crew chiefs now have to think about bringing these guys to pit road, especially Todd. You don't want to do it now because Todd Gilliland has such a big lead. Again, you're not in any danger if you're Christian Eckes, but everybody else would love to see the 18 of Gilliland pit first, so then they can come to pit road knowing that they won't come back out on the racetrack being a lap down.
The 18 looks like he's setting up the 77 right now to put him a lap down. Meanwhile, Rafael Lessard, the 28, continues to race around the racetrack in 10th. Kim has more on what's going on with that 28.
Yeah, Lessard had come in on lap 24. That was a short pitch strategy. It was on purpose. They were within their fuel window to make it the rest of the distance. They took 4 tires in an adjustment for a tight condition. He had been loose all practice, and so it was interesting that it was building tight. Just checked in with Lessard's team. He said the car is much better now. He currently runs in the 10th position, but that was a short pit strategy.
Christian Eckes is on pit road, the first of our race leaders.
He was about 6 seconds behind our leader, Gilliland, when he came down pit road. We'll see how he comes back out on the racetrack.
And while we were hearing from Kim, we also saw that Todd Gilliland was able to put Joe Graf Jr. a lap down, making problems even thicker for Michael Self. Kim.
Christian Eckes in with his Toyota Camry. They are going to make a severe adjustment on the back end of that race car. It's going to be 4 General tires on that Toyota as well as Sunoco fuel. They'll wipe off the grill. A lot of stuff collected on there, and Christian Eckes is down and away.
Pretty solid pit stop there. Waited a little bit on the fuel with only 30 laps to go. I don't know that you needed to wait that much on fuel, but it's going to bring our leader Todd Gilliland to pit road as well.
30 down, 30 to go. This pit stop could change everything. Kim, you've got it again.
Yep, Todd Gilliland, he's going to make his way down 55 miles per hour. See if he gets all 4 in the box. He does perfectly. The team goes to work on the right side. He was reporting that it was tight through the center. On the exit, though, a little bit loose. No, well, I was going to say no visible adjustments. As I said that, they did put a wrench in the back of the race car to correct that handling issue. 4 tires a little bit slow on the left-hand side, specifically the left front. He is down and away. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel for Todd Gilliland on a pretty slow stop.
And right behind him, here's the 22. Corey Heim is in.
Corey was running in the 4th spot before these pit stops started. The Chad Bryant crew, Paul Andrews, crew chief on this 22 of Corey Heim. You see they're going to go around the left sides. Certainly important pit stop. More than likely their only pit stop. They will have another set of tires in the pits if they need them. Good job by the Paul Andrews led crew.
Looks like Travis Braden is in as well, right side of your screen. They're working on the right side of that car. There's an adjustment with a wrench there. It's going to go in the left side as well. Just a 2-tire adjustment? No, it is a 4-tire swap right here. Did you get a good look at the jack man?
I think it's a situation where they need that second can of fuel. That's why they went ahead and changed 4 tires. Talking to some of the crew chiefs today, he said the time it takes to put that second can in, we might as well go ahead and change 4 tires.
Travis Braden out, down and away. When it all boils down, we're looking now for the 20 car, Chandler Smith. When will he come to pit lane? He's got himself a lap led. He's our race leader at the moment.
As you can see on our scoring monitor, Gilliland and Eckes comfortably still on the lead lap. That was so important because of their position. And here comes Chandler Smith down pit road.
20 car that has been so dominant, a driver that every time he is out appears to be dominant as well. As the long drive down the long pit road, close to pit or turn number 1.
It seems excruciatingly slow as you have to go all the way down pit road.
But Kim, it looks like he's coming in right now.
Yep, and a long drive for him because he's got the last available pit box on pit road. Chandler Smith is currently taking tires. Crew on the right side, they are done all around to the left side. It's going to be Sunoco fuel as well. His crew chief Billy V asked, do we need to make any adjustments on your Toyota? Chandler said negative, no adjustments on that 20 car. He said it feels like it's on a rail. It looks like though they may have missed a lug nut on that left rear, having a little bit of trouble with this pit stop. Slow on the left rail, got hung up, that tire did. So not what Chandler Smith wanted. He has given up the lead to come down in a slow pit stop for Chandler Smith.
Bill Venturini is not happy about any of it.
It looked like they took the left front tire off and they didn't have the other tire ready to put on, and then the tire changer just stood up, looked around. Not sure exactly. I thought maybe he saw a problem when he took that left front tire off, but then they went ahead and put the left front tire on. It had to take 18 pass-through penalty, a drive-through blend line violation.
Chandler Smith, he's got hit for speeding as well. So the tenor of this race is changing as we go. Green flag pit stops just past the halfway mark. We will sort it all out when we come back as the ARCA Menards Series, the Pennsylvania 150, is getting interesting here today in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. For the first 31 laps of the Pennsylvania 150, we talked to Todd Gilliland. Then a pit road violation during green flag pit stops changed everything. Christian Eckes is now the race leader by 16 seconds. It's all happened here during our Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Take you back to the start, a delayed start. Why? That right there, lightning and a thunderstorm off.
Here's the start of the race. The pole sitter, Todd Gilliland, gets a great jump over the 15 of Eckes.
Chandler Smith cuts up into the 25 car. That's your point leader, Michael Self, who did have to make an early pit stop. Smith, though, working his way back. That gets him up to 5th.
Battle for the 5th position. Austin Wayne Self, and here Corey Hahn doing the same thing. Passes Rafael Lessard for the 4th position.
Chandler Smith still marching forward. It took him some time to get past the 22, but he was able to do that. And then next on the hit list would be the 25 car. Your point leader, Michael Self. No resistance. Chandler Smith, the Iowa winner, getting by. But then that's when the pit stop started. Here's Michael Self in early.
Michael Self came in early because of a flat tire. There's a puncture right there on his tire.
Then it was Christian Eckes running second at the time. First into the pit box. He does a quick 4-tire change. Very, very efficient. One lap later, though, here comes everybody else. The cavalry.
Our leader, Todd Gilliland, comes to pit road, but unfortunately, he's going to have a blend line violation. You can see him right now. You cannot go above that yellow line as you leave in the pits. That brought him back to pit road for a pass-through penalty, and he finds himself 15 seconds behind now.
And Christian Eckes, desperately needing points, is in a perfect position to do that. That first pit stop, Michael Self came back on lap 18. Right now, Michael Self runs 3rd. The question is pitting on lap 18, can he go 42?
It's going to be questionable. He's going to have to save a little fuel for sure.
So 9 cars are on the lead lap. We've had 4 different leaders. Right now, it is Christian Eckes, who's in a perfect position to gain some ARCA Menards Series points today in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. On board with Travis Braden, the Matrix Care onboard camera. Working the wheel today at the Pennsylvania 150, where there are just 17 laps to go here.
Travis is running in the 9th spot right now. Another solid top 10 run going for Travis Braden.
Mr. Consistency, if you will. Another top 10 finish looms for him. However, the question is now, can Christian Eckes, your race leader, can he hold on and pick up some very valuable ARCA Menards Series points? Right now, he is sawing through lap traffic at a very fast rate. Actually, taking his time a little bit right now. 13-second lead over Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, he was behind the 23 of Brett Holmes for quite a while and lost a lot of ground to Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland now is only 12.5 seconds behind, and he has averaged running about a half a second a lap faster. You do the math, and there is enough time with some proper brakes and traffic for Todd Gilliland possibly to catch him. But you wouldn't think those lap times as the tires get older would continue to be a half-second difference.
Christian Eckes along with Todd Gilliland, Austin Wayne Self taking part in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series racing as well. Christian selling Jim Tradow, who relayed this information on to us. He was on a pole-winning run earlier in our general tire profile or general tire qualifying. However, got into the tunnel turn, thought he was in the truck, a little different line, gave up some time.
Yeah, a little less momentum loss in an ARCA Menards car than a Gander Outdoors truck.
Question, though, exists. How many points will he get? Michael Self right now runs in the number 3 position, Kim Kuhn, but it's been a long time, lap 18, since he's pitted. Can he go the distance?
Yeah, that's right. Remember, he came down on lap 18 because he had that right rear tire puncture. They made an adjustment, took 4 tires, filled that thing up to the brim with Sunoco fuel. Now, I walked down to the pit box, checked in with his crew chief, Shannon Rush, and asked, are you okay on fuel? Because remember, conservatively, the fuel window, high 30s, max, low 40s. They're going to have to go 42 full laps to make it to lap 60 after pitting on lap 18. He gave a thumbs up at what I would consider a cheesy smile and said, yeah, we're great on fuel. So take that for what it's worth. 15 laps to go. Michael currently in the 3rd position. We'll see whether or not Shannon was lying to us or telling the truth.
Sounds like something a crew chief might say.
Yeah, Kim would be, great would be a stretch, Kim, I think, on fuel.
Well, and for what it's worth, we think the 77 of Joe Graff Jr. perhaps went 40 laps before making his first pit stop, so perhaps that window is out there for the 25, but right now it's a race dominated now by Christian Eckes. The lead down to just under 11 seconds over Todd Gilliland, but can this man take it the distance today? Get himself back in the ARCA Menards Series Championship race? Find out with us. Bill Parsons, Kim Kuhn, Dave Reed back with you here. Long Pond, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania 150. It is the ARCA Menards Series 15th race of 20 in the 2019 season, and this is Christian Eckes, who after the first two races of the year, Bill was in a good position. He was the points leader. But then came the torn trachea, a crash in Talladega, carbon monoxide poisoning. Yes, there was a Nashville win in there. But then there was the episode in Elko where he and Michael Self got together. Yeah, lost several positions, I think, all the way back till the 11th spot. But he's doing a terrific job right now. I was really worried, though, that Gillen might be able to catch him. He was averaging, running about a half a second faster than Christian Eckes. But I think Christian Eckes has just put the afterburners on. He's run some of his faster laps, Kim, in the last few laps.
You're absolutely right, and we've been watching this kind of accordion between Christian Eckes in the first position and Todd Gilliland in the second position. I timed into the second channel radio on the 15 team of Christian Eckes. That's just between the crew chief of Kevin Reed and their spotter, and the crew chief said the 18 of Todd Gilliland is gaining a tenth a lap on us, but it's not worth talking about, meaning we do not want to tell our driver that and get him tripped up and have some bad mojo and bad thoughts. Lap later on Channel 1, that crew chief of Kevin Reed to his driver Christian Eckes said, keep doing what you're doing. So we've talked all season long about how Christian Eckes has had good luck and then followed by bad luck and then good luck, this roller coaster of emotions. They're just trying to keep their driver's head on straight, not giving him exactly all the information about what Todd Gilliland's doing out there.
Well, Todd Gilliland is quoted as saying it's hard not to pay attention to the points race, and he's in the perfect position right now doing what he needs to do, especially with Michael Self being precariously positioned, having been so long since he's been on pit road. And you mentioned earlier, Dave, the guys doing double duty. Christian Eckes is one of those, as well as Todd Gilliland, and that track time is helping too. Right now, Christian Eckes is running some really fast laps. The last couple laps, he was actually faster than Todd Gilliland. This lap, he ran another 53.90. Every lap that he can run down below 54 flat, he's not going to lose much ground at all to the 18 of Todd Gilliland, who just went by, also ran a 53.90. Didn't lose anything that lap. Gilliland able to stay on the lead lap despite his pit road infraction. Meanwhile, Chandler Smith, he had big-time problems on pit road. It was so exciting to watch earlier. He is 8th, but he's 3rd in 3 cars that are at least a lap down. Yeah, right now that pit road penalty is really going to cost Gilliland. You see him right now 11.5 seconds behind, and that probably cost him at least 20 seconds to roll down pit road at reduced speed, at pit road speed, and back up on the racetrack. Just one of those things that I'm sure at the end of the day he's going to look back and say, man, why did I do that? But as part of the learning experience, and it wasn't a situation where he just drove on the racetrack. Right. He just kind of bobbled a little bit, as you see right there, get a little bit loose there in the center of turn number 3, and just crept up above the blend line for just an instant, but it was enough to get busted. So at this point, still 11 seconds behind Christian Eckes. Might that team be thinking about a caution? Will it loom on the horizon and change things? You never know. We get a caution with 1 lap to go. It's a whole new race. As strong as this 18 car has been of Todd Gilliland, I wouldn't want to have to race him on a green-white checker finish or a 1-lap shootout. Meanwhile, here's Christian Eckes learning here at the Tricky Triangle in a big way. His 3 previous visits, an 11th, a 13th, and a 15th. That's the wrong way. Now he's going the right way, climbing himself back into this championship chase. Best lap off just shy of 169. His last lap at 165, but with that cushion, he's got a little bit of flexibility to play with. Yeah, I think right now he could even back off with that almost 11-second lead and just save a little bit of tire in case we do get a caution flag. Those 2 cars, the 15 and the 18, have been pretty evenly matched throughout this race. It would be a heck of a battle there at the end of the race for those 2 guys if we catch a caution flag. Any worry of concern etched on the face of Kevin Reed? Doesn't look like it. Well, it looks like he's worrying a lot to me. He's worrying about a caution flag. He does wear his emotions on his sleeve. There is no doubt about that. But Christian Eckes has done a superb job here in this race.
was flawless on his pit stop.
And this time by, they will complete lap number 55, meaning there are now 5 laps to go.
Still over in 10-second lead right now over the second place running Todd Gilliland. Just needs to be very careful in traffic as he laps by the 06 of Tim Richmond.
Meanwhile, for Michael Self, it's getting into nip-tuck time. 37 green flag laps. You thought that pit window was right in there. He's trying to go 42 laps and muster a podium finish here.
Yeah, I think right now that he needs to back off. He's still running some pretty good lap times. But again, Shannon Rush told Kim that they felt like they were good. They got a good fuel mileage check when they made their pit stop, so they may be comfortable.
Kim, what you got?
Well, we're starting to get a few sprinkles down here on pit road, as well as spotters talking about a little bit of sprinkles throughout the racetrack. So Kevin Reed looking at the lead that his driver Christian Eckes has currently over second place. Todd Gilliland has told him ease up a little. It's starting to sprinkle around the racetrack. We don't want to give up anything here in terms of a spin out or whatnot because we have such a big lead. So just take it easy as it starts to rain slightly here at Pocono Raceway.
4 laps to go now. Under 10 miles. It's a long way to go with some sprinkles out there. Sprinkles, how well do they mix with traction compound? We don't need to figure that out either.
But they don't mix very well with non-traction compound asphalt either.
What a remarkable job done. He knew he had a good car in qualifying, was mad that he threw away the pole.
Yeah, I think he'd rather have this win, though. Just a flawless job. And we talk about how important pit stops are. We saw Riley Herbst lose the race back here.
We did.
To Ty Majeski in May by what happened on pit road. And Todd Gilliland may have given this one up on pit road here with that penalty.
Well, there's not enough laps left for Christian Eckes to lead the most laps today. Todd Gilliland will have that distinction. But that pit road infraction will cost him dearly.
Well, we're assuming we're not going to have a caution and have a 1 or 2 lap shootout. It's been a great day for Christian Eckes. He was 6th fastest in final practice for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. So he's going to make another start tomorrow for KBM and Rudy Fugel.
Truck qualifying, that's coming up next. Christian Eckes will be a part of that, as will Todd Gilliland, Austin Wade Self, and a whole lot of other truckers. There's the double dippers that are doing the Gander thing, the ARCA thing today. And that's coming up right after us.
All 3 of those
Weather
drivers
pending.
right now running up in the top 6. Austin Wayne Self having another solid run back in the 6th spot.
Now working lap 59, 2 laps to go. And with only 3 corners, I got to do math. I'm not going to worry about that. Normally, you could say under 8 corners to go.
What turn 4? They don't have one.
That's something that does need to be said a little bit more when it comes to Pocono. What turn 4? I'll tell you what, Christian Eckes is hoping turn 4 is the one that takes him to victory lane. He can say that here. We're coming to the white flag. Christian Eckes through turn 3 now. Rafael Lessard in front of him. Be an opportunity to lap up to 4th. That's how strong he has been. And there is that white flag. 2.5 miles to go with a 12.8 second lead. But it's not over till it's over.
Remember, in the ARCA Menards series, if the caution flag were to come out on this lap, we would have a 1-lap shootout. So Christian Eckes has to hold his breath for about 30 more seconds, I think.
He was the point leader after the first 2 races. That's when troubles set in. But a win in Nashville gave this team the momentum it needed. And now Christian Eckes is a couple of corners away from getting his 2nd win of 2019.
And really fight his way back into this championship battle as well.
Michael Self, meanwhile, continues to race on the lead lap. But this race belongs to Christian Eckes. His 5th win in 41 starts. He has won the Pennsylvania 150 to get back in the championship race.
That's his dad. Left side of your screen, George Eckes. What a nice job by Christian and that entire Venturini Motorsports team.
Unofficially, what was once a 105-point gap is trimmed to 75. He did exactly what he needed to do. And as far as Michael Self goes, about the job that team did, limping that car home. Michael Self not yet to cross the finish line, but Christian Eckes is going to win today. We'll talk to him when we come back to Long Pond. Back with the checker flag has fallen in the Pennsylvania 150. No doubt, Phil, the two best cars, Todd Gilliland and Christian Eckes, lived up to their billings. Just one small snafu by the 18 team allowed the 15 team to go to victory lane today.
Yeah, they were really flawless all day long for Christian Eckes and that team.
And Kim is down in victory lane. We're no doubt excited. Christian Eckes is about to pop out.
Absolutely, Christian Eckes. He's going to wiggle his way out of the race car. His second win of the season. That's his crew chief, Kevin Reed, giving him a pat on the top of the roof. He knew he had a fast race car in qualifying. You knew, but did you know you had this good of a car?
Yeah, I didn't know, to be honest. I knew we had a pretty good car, and we made some good adjustments there, and we were able to actually run away from Todd. Obviously he had a penalty and stuff like that, but man, this is awesome. Being back to victory lane. It's fun. It's fun, man. I love racing with these guys and JBL Audio, Toyota Racing, everybody. We got a few more races to go, and we still got the championship hunts in hopes. So we'll have to go see what happens, but I really look forward to it.
You mentioned that championship hopes. You've hopscotched to the second place in the point standings. I know you've had an up and down season, but what does this do for your confidence and your momentum as you move into the last quarter of this season?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's a little bit of a dry spell here lately. We've had terrible luck, especially with this car, so it feels good to win with this one, and it feels good to win, like I said, with JBL, Sirius XM, Toyota Racing, Venturini Motorsports, everybody. It's there's a lot of good things.
This is the best.
Yeah, he's got Big Bill's going to come in for the kiss for race winner Christian Eckes. We're going to leave them and let them celebrate down here. Christian Eckes winning at Pocono Raceway.
Flying the V for the Venturini Motorsports team. For that team, it's their first win here since Brennan Poole won in June of 2012, and another unique trophy that he can put on his mantle. It was a guitar in Nashville, and how about the Eagle from Pocono?
Yeah, that's great. What an amazing season it's been here for Venturini Motorsports. Through 15 races, 10 wins already.
Majority of those coming from the point leader, Michael Self. It is certainly worth noting that the 25 car went 42 laps of green flag racing to come home in that third position today. But a great job done by Venturini Motorsports in 2019. Not quite yet done here in Pocono. Hang out with us a little bit more. We promise you. No more kisses to be handed out. Well, I better not promise that. You never know what happens here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Celebration in victory lane for Christian Eckes. To the victor go the spoils and a good-looking trophy as winner of the Pennsylvania 150. Great race between him and Todd Gilliland all day. There's no doubt they were the best ARCA Menards Series cars all day today.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's a shame that only one of those two young drivers could go to victory lane.
NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series qualifying coming up next, but let's first hear from the runner-up at Kim.
Yeah, disappointed Todd Gilliland down here on pit road. A speeding penalty, but despite that, you still finished second. So sum up for your day for you and this team.
Just fast Frontline Enterprises Toyota Camry. These Gibbs guys did a really good job. Just it's horrible. I just made a mistake. It was blend line going off pit road. Just slid up a little bit, I guess, and I thought it was unsafe or something. So it is what it is. Like I said, though, can't thank these Joe Gibbs guys enough. One race deal, and I think they're tired of finishing second, too. They do that a lot. So we definitely had a car to win today, and they deserved it. And we ran good all through practice, got the pole, stuff like that. But the race is what matters, and we didn't get to close it out. But again, thank you to Toyota, my mom and dad, everyone. So I don't know. We'll move on. Truck qualifying is right after this, so kind of got to refocus and move on to tomorrow. But this is a tough one.
Frustrated Todd Gilliland finishes second here in the ARCA Menards series at Pocono.
Gilliland in the Gibbs car, sandwiched right between the two Venturini machines that make up the podium. Michael Self did himself a huge favor today, getting that car through 42 green flag laps to hold on to this points lead.
Yeah, and it came down pit road there early, but he had that flat tire, so great call by his crew chief, Shannon Rush, to bring him down pit road, and for him to come down pit road, that salvages a great finish for him, and he holds on to that 75-point lead.
And how about a battle in the final 5, by the way? A couple of dirt track stops before we wrap it up right here on FS1 out in Kansas.
Yeah, a couple short tracks as well, so anything can happen. This point race is far from being over.
Illinois State Fairgrounds come your way next with the ARCA Menards Series. We'll see you for the season finale, but up next, it's Vince Welch and the gang. It's NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series qualifying on the other side. When it's all said and done, Christian Eckes' second win of the year is certainly a big one as he continues climbing up the ARCA Menards Series point standings.